Hey, hi guys, welcome back. Denise, you doll. I am so happy, sweetheart. That's wonderful. You guys, thanks so much for being here. So, as you guys know, probably by the backdrop, we're going to be delving into a little bit of mythology, and this is kind of fusing together mythology slash a little bit of astronomy, astrology, the whole 9 yards mushed together. And I'm going to honor that just a little bit here, but we're going to be a little bit more specific. So, we are going to get into a specific storyline for a third eye that is opening up, but let me explain why. So obviously I was like, okay, I want to go ahead and still celebrate some mythology storytelling, even on this channel as well, like I'm doing on the other one. But I thought, let me branch out and let's talk about Sirius, the dog star, which is the brightest star in the night sky. And of course, dog star, tarot dog, fits nicely together. Now, the thing is, Sirius, the dog star, you can find that star in Orion's, well, off to the left of Orion's belt. If you count over like 8 lengths to the left of Orion's belt, you will find Sirius, the dog star, and he's supposed to be the dog who sits at Orion's feet. Orion is a great hunter, and this is his hunting dog. Throughout history, of course, actually multiple different cultures all saw it as a dog, which I think is interesting. But the ancient Egyptians specifically like really loved seeing the dog star on its heliacal rise because it represented the time when the Nile River would flood, and that would actually be viewed as a time where great fertility would be brought back because the water would actually, flush out into surrounding areas and obviously nourish the land. And so that would be associated with a time of good fortune and good harvest. I always celebrate the rising of the dog star when it rises in the morning, right around the middle of August. And I'm an August baby, so it's always been a nice time for me. But the word Sirius actually means scorching or blazing. And the thing is, I have a blue healer named Aries, and you know that blue healers have what's called, well, not all of them, but if they come from a very famous stud, as so many of the ones that we have nowadays do, they will have the Bentley star, and it's this little white patch. And it's right about where, like on a human, it would be where a third eye would be. On the dog, so it's situated a little further back. This blue healer, you can not quite see it on the painting that I did of Aries. And of course, as many photos that I've done of Aries, you can see it. Later on, I'll post a picture of that crazy painting that I did with Aries and see if I can get him to sit next to it. But I always think of it as Aries' third eye. And I always think of him. I mean, I swear to God, my dog can read my mind. So all of that to be said, we want to start out the storyline with the third eye, because this is a nice connection to, kind of mythological tales, but then we connect it to something astrological, astronomical, and also very terrestrial. And then we throw in a dash of kind of the mystical and the fun storytelling style as well. So I just want to start out, we could have somebody who has a very faithful dog. By the way, we could be dealing possibly with a King of Wands. We could be dealing with someone, who's there is like their third eye is blazing open. And I would associate that also, their heart could be on fire. So this starts out really nice. Denise, you angel. Thank you so much. You are such a love. Thank you. You're so generous. It's so good to see you. So we begin with the King of Wands. We're not going to use all doggy cards, but I will say somebody could have a white dog with black ears, or even like a tuxedo cat, or some pet that is dear to them. They could also wear white and black quite a lot. I'm picturing somebody who works in like maybe food service industry or something. That's really common, white shirt, black pants. But I'm picturing somebody that could also be, a white tie, or excuse me, a black tie event. But we definitely have like also the two opposing color tones, the absence of color, and then, the space, where we actually have the, opacity. So I'm wondering if we have the distinction between not light and dark necessarily, but more like heart not activated versus heart very activated, or third eye turned off versus third eye turned very on. If you notice in the background, we have all this, they call it a murder of crows, right? A whole gaggle of crows flying together. I've always thought that was such an interesting way to refer to them. You know, it's like a flock of birds, but a murder of crows. And I just feel like that's a whole lot of messages, and they're flying near the dog's ears. So I'm going to say somebody has, like, it's not just their third eye activation. It's like they heard the voice of the divine and that opened up their heart. And even here, the little wand has the little fire, and it's right over his little heart, over his little chest. So let's go ahead and keep all that in mind as we begin this story, because I'm feeling like we just might have possibly a divine masculine whose heart is super activated, whose third eye is super open, who's listening to the messages of the divine. Let's go ahead and see what we got. We have got the Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles energy is somebody who is holding back sometimes, but we have a feminine on this card. And she's over here in her golden jade, I'll say, empire. This always feels like the Forbidden Kingdom or something. She may literally have like a jewel box that's made out of jade or something that's green. She may have several gemstones or crystals that she keeps like in a box and brings them out to like maybe supercharge them during the full moon. We have kind of either a Chinese or maybe Balinese or maybe Taiwanese or the shape of either the pagoda. This could be somebody who lives near a park that has like a really ornate, really beautiful pagoda, or this is the culture that they hail from. But we certainly have something very regal associated with her. And she's withdrawn and is like behind the walls of her fortress saying, you know, all this good, all this yum, you don't just come and help yourself too. If you're going to approach any kind of a fortress, a castle, an empire, there's ceremony involved. You approach properly. You approach with, like a lovely way to present yourself. And you don't think you just get to demand entrance unless, you approach in the right way. So I'm feeling like we have a divine feminine who does not just let anything come at her. We got the Death card. This could be new energy this year. You notice we have the serpent here, and of course this is year of the snake. It's coming up behind her. We got this little cat who's staring over that little like dirt mound here as well. And then we have a feminine who's I believe it's a feminine. I've always thought that on this card. I don't really know why, but I always read this as a feminine. I guess the feline, the feminine, there's something about that always makes me think of that. But she has grown these butterfly wings. So she has transformed. She's not the same person that she used to be. She is somebody new. She is somebody different. And she's in this energy of, yes, I have switched it up. People have to approach me right now, or I don't open up. You can't have a slice of this pie unless, you're coming in with honest intentions. And she's real focused just on her future. So I don't know about this King of Wands just yet, but I believe that he's the one with the third eye open. She's the one that has transmuted her energy, totally different than a third eye being open. She has shifted into a different version of herself altogether. He has had something more like an awakening, specifically for his heart, but also the way he views the world through his heart now. And maybe his intuition is turned on more as well. Whereas she has done more like fundamental changes. She's put up a whole new set of boundaries. It's like, think of like a business that writes a new employee handbook, or, like a new decree that comes down. It's like, I'm going to go ahead. My higher self says, protect my energy, put up some boundaries, and have, a baseline that someone has to meet before they just get to, have access to my heart. With the Three of Wands, she's more focused on her future. And I feel like she may have plans to go and either travel, visit some places abroad. I'm seeing Portugal, I'm seeing Germany, possibly Russia. We got an awful lot of like international, I don't know why I always think of her as like a ballet dancer or somebody who goes to the ballet, or somebody who's like performed in different shows that like almost the Nutcracker. I don't know why that card, there's no logical reason why I think of it that way, other than if you go and see the Nutcracker around Christmas time, you know that like all the different pieces of music sometimes have like different international flavors to them. And I'm wondering if that somehow has something to do with her. I don't know if Christmas time is important, the Nutcracker is important, or something about these international flavors is important, but it has to do with the future. We have the Knight of Wands. She is excited to test the waters of dating again. She's excited to try seeing, this is like a little temple of love going on over here, by the way. We've got these fertility figures that have been carved up at the top of this, I'll say pyramid, but it's, you know, more like a step pyramid, or more like the pyramids that we might see in Mexico. But I feel like she's definitely saying, I'm excited to have a lover back in my life. I almost think she's got this real international spiritual persona about her as well. She feels like somebody who is both like down to earth, not afraid of sensuality, very much open to meeting whomever from whatever walk. Let's see. Okay, guys, here's hoping that things stay steady again. You know, I really cannot figure out what seems to be the problem lately with YouTube, but there is a consistency now where every time I toggle between my two channels, we get this buffering issue that occurs. And I actually think some of you had the buffering that occurred before others did, is what it looks like in the chat. So I really can't explain what's going on with it, but in any case, hopefully we're solid now. For those of you who missed it, I was just mentioning like the quality of our character seems to be this feminine anyway, who by the way could be a Scorpio, doesn't have to be, but she seems to be someone who's like very broad-minded, maybe internationally minded, and she seems to be like very unafraid of sensuality. In fact, gravitates toward it, has quite the lusty little, you know, mindset herself, but also holds herself in high regard, high esteem. And it's not like she's just randomly going to select a partner, but definitely I think it's kind of like she's thinking about her next lover, who will be the next partner. Okay, Nellie, I'm glad to hear it's not just me. Hi, everybody. We've got the King of Cups. King of Cups is the energy of love. She's obviously looking at somebody that's emotionally available, can offer love, can offer something significant, can offer true emotional, like open-heartedness. So bear in mind, she's thinking about her next lover, and she's thinking that she might like it to be somebody like this. Oh, Dwayne, thank you so much, Dwayne. You're so generous. So nice to see you. Unique to Freak in the house. I have not seen you in a hot minute. How you been, love? Thank you again. So kind. This feels so beautiful, and so like she knows what she wants, but I have to say, we can't forget about this King of Wands, who's really the one having some kind of third eye opening. Let's go back over to him for just a second, because we can see she's basically ready for love. She would be open to love. She's already thinking about her next lover. And she is specifically thinking about a lusty adventure, you know, so she's very much ready to engage in not just an emotional relationship, but a physical one as well. She is prioritizing the physical and then saying, yeah, I want to meet somebody that I want to kiss their lips, you know, and I want them to kiss mine. But I also want them to have, a heart, and I want them to be a king, and I want them to be, somebody secure and stable who can offer me something, who would match me in an emotional bond. Okay, let's go over to the King of Wands. King of Wands, tell us about you. Three of Cups. Well, see, I've dated quite a lot. I've been looking for the right partner. I'm going to say it this way. I think he might have dated the same person again and again and again. And what I mean is the same type of person. I'm thinking that he met nice people, but people that he could have had a complacent relationship with. You notice how it's like a field of lavender. It's like I've dated people and it was nice, but I'm wondering if he unwittingly kept selecting the same type of person. So let's say he goes for sweet, lovely gals, and that's awesome, right? Nice people, that's who he's attracted to. Maybe they all have a similarity. It's like, oh, everyone I've ever dated, they love to go to a spa, they love to go out to wine country, they love, and I don't know how, I just keep kind of meeting such a similar personality type. I'm not saying he was looking for a type, I'm saying he kept finding it. And while this is no knock to any of them, because obviously each one of the individuals he has dated, he thinks highly of, but he does want something different. We got the Ace of Pentacles. He's realized that it's not enough to find someone you can be complacent with. And this is maybe what his third eye opening up is telling him. This is not to say, oh, it's not enough that she's nice. I'm not saying like nice gals finish last. I'm saying I don't think that there was love there or spark there. It was enjoyable. Maybe these were even party girls. Maybe these were good time girls that also were sweet because they all have wine glasses in their hands. And maybe it was like, the cornucopia, like I can meet anybody. And as long as there's plenty of money and we can do fun things together, we can have a good time together. But where's the bond? If it's more about going out on the weekend getaways, like maybe this is a King of Wands who has a lot of money and the people that they've dated have been very much like, there's a routine, you go away for the weekend and, it's a luxurious, fun, but maybe superficial bond. Even if these are great people, I don't think that there was a depth of bond because he says, I want something different with this Ace of Pentacles. And if you notice, we've got the sparks flying, right? It's like this has been forged. And that brings me back around to talking about Sirius, the dog star, right? Also, I didn't mention this, but sometimes Sirius, the dog star, it is the brightest star in the sky. And sometimes it's known to twinkle quite a lot. And remember, it's, like the word itself means, whatever, burning or, scorching or, and I'm just picturing that he's had this like flash, like, oh my God, I get it. I get what's been missing. Maybe I've dated people that were fun and nice, but there wasn't depth. It was superficial. And this is the opening of his heart chakra saying, I wasn't in love with anybody. I was dating people I didn't love. Oh my God. We literally have a King of Wands and we have the Five of Cups. So talk about a realization. And this is so awesome because we've got the spiraling of the Milky Way galaxy, which, so I mentioned this on the other channel today in the collective message. So the origins of the Milky Way galaxy. So all cultures have noticed the Milky Way galaxy and they all looked at it in slightly different ways, usually as a river. So like in India, they look at it as like a depiction of the Ganges River. In China, they call it the Sky River, but they view it as like, a heavenly depiction of the Yellow River. The Egyptians saw it as an extension of the Nile River. Now, in ancient Roman times, the Romans looked at it as the river that you follow as you go into the afterlife. In the Greek mythology, the story was Zeus and Hera, the married couple of the Olympian gods. Zeus was pretty unfaithful most of the time, and that would make Hera very jealous, and she would punish not only the individuals that he cheated with, but also any offspring. And of course, he goes on and does this, and he winds up creating baby Hercules with a mortal woman. And he doesn't want Hera to find out. So he initially tells Hera, hey, I found this baby, this big old baby. And Hera goes, oh, well, give him to me. I'll take care of him. I'll nurse him. But Hercules, being a very strong, robust baby, nurses a little too ferociously and, gives her a twinge of pain and she like shoves baby away and a spurt of milk goes up into the heavens and that becomes the Milky Way galaxy. And then the Greeks also believe that excess milk sprinkled down and became lilies here on Earth, the flower. So just some side notes. But Just kind of some, by the way, the Leo video is already posted on the other channel, and that was a story about Hercules. So if you're a Leo and you want to watch a Leo specific, it's all about Hercules over there. So, but to return back to this, and forgive me for digressing, but that Milky Way galaxy was so prominent. And because this is our mythology week, I really wanted to just go ahead and pick up that story. And we already talked about Sirius, the dog star, being important to the Egyptians because it represented the flooding of the Nile. So I'm going to say that not only does he have the scorching, eye opening, the third eye opening, but he's also got this huge amount of, like, I'll say, maybe this flood of information coming to him now, which is that he's been exceptionally lonely. He has not actually found a partner to either like live in his big old mansion with, or he hasn't found a place that felt like home, or he hasn't found a person that felt like home. Twice now we see him as the King of Wands. And this really brings it home to the fact that his third eye is opening and it's a connection to the cosmos. And all of this in turn is a connection to even the great mystery of life. Is something he didn't know about himself. We got the pyramids behind him. So he's just now realizing, what's been missing? Why do I feel hollow or empty? I have all these things. I have a nice big fancy house with a turret. I have brand new white kicks on. I can afford to keep buying myself brand new white shoes. If they get scuffed, I buy new ones. Look, he feels very affluent and very, very lonely. Even if it's like, I could date lots of people, but I'm still so freaking lonely. Why am I so lonely? And I think this is him realizing it. It's because I haven't actually built a bond with somebody. This could, and I'm going to be specific because this is a specific message. This could be a gentleman in this storyline who's possibly a little bit older, still looks really young, but he could be dating individuals that are still a little bit younger than he is. And again, similar types of people again and again and again. They're all beautiful. They're all nice. But I'm wondering if this is somebody who's like at a point in their life where what they're really, really aware of is, sometimes in life we're just like enjoying the dating scene. But I'm wondering if he's not beyond that and he's, awakening to, but partnership, the purpose to date can be to have fun, or it can be to find, the emotional bond, the person who, you feel comfortable with in a way you don't feel that way about other people. It's something more special. Look, anybody can get laid anytime they want by anyone. Walk into a bar, you do not have to go home alone. Everybody can find somebody. But that's not where he's at in his life. And I'm not saying he was ever just looking for only that. It looks like he dated people. But I don't think he recognized that he was maybe dating for the, well, if we go out on these weekend getaways, I have plenty of resources, have a nice time, but nothing like sticks in his head. Nobody like scratched the surface, but I don't think his heart was open for anyone to scratch the surface. We got the 10 of Pentacles. He keeps saying, I have so much that I could share. Who am I supposed to share it with? I could share it with people who are like, yes, they'd like to enjoy what I can offer, but I'm not finding someone that I actually feel I'm sharing a bond with, or I'm sharing my heart with. This is what he's realizing. He may have actually been married before and divorced and then dated. And I almost think that everything has been, I hate to say this because it sounds so insulting, but I feel like nobody stands out in his memory. Maybe he's never had a great love before. Maybe he's never had a great heartbreak before. And I don't know that we should say, oh, well, wow, isn't that shallow? It's just something about that heart wasn't activated. Something in him has changed. Why has this changed so much? By the way, he could have dark hair. Doesn't have to, but he just shows up that way twice. Page of Cups. Something like a new page was turned in his book of life, his book of love. He definitely got to that point where it's like, okay, I see the world through a different lens. I'm writing a new chapter. Hell, maybe I'm opening up a new book, or maybe this represents that he's about halfway through his life. I almost said it and I wish I had, because I was like, maybe he's like in his 40s, 50s, or pushing that route, and he's still dating people that are, 15 years younger. Hell, maybe he's going for 20 years younger, that can be a significant difference in, what people are looking for sometimes based off of, age brackets. I mean, I think age is kind of a number. You can have old souls, people that are really mature, at 22. And you can have super immature people that are 70. I've seen it all. But I do think that there's something here about like this book being open at the midway point. I'm thinking he's looking at his life. And sometimes we look at our life on like benchmark moments, so a birth date, a time, a lot of people are afraid of turning this age or that. I honestly have never been that way. I actually feel better the older I get. I think I was old a long time ago. And so, I never, when I turned 30 or 40 or whatever, it never like sunk in. It never mattered to me. It was just a chance to eat cake. As you all know, I really like to celebrate and eat cake. So I don't know, we can all be different, but I will say at non-birthday times of my life, I have definitely had moments where I've been like, my God, what am I doing? But that doesn't have to do with a birthday. So I don't want to be too pinpointed on that, but this does stand out to me. Like he got to the middle of something in his life and he's like, I mean, I have all this. I have a big house. I have a pool. I maybe can see the world. Maybe I have seen the world. I've been around. And you know what? Somehow it still feels hollow. What's the deal that I'm missing? So there's a reason that his third eye is opening. And it has to do with, getting into the middle of our life story and maybe taking stock of things or getting to the middle of something and taking stock of things. The Page of Cups could indicate that he has had a little tiny spark of greater emotion developing for someone. And he might be kind of thrown by this. We have a feminine here. We can't see her face, but she's out here completely like ignoring everybody, just enjoying the spray of the ocean. She's kind of a little bit of a free spirit. Her hair is everywhere. She's just out here unself-conscious doing her thing. And it could be that she represents something wild and authentic. And if he just suddenly had a little like jolt in his heart space, like, wow, that person is interesting, more interesting than the clones I've dated, more interesting than, like the specific types that I have dated. There's something about her that I'm intrigued by. I mean, it's obviously intriguing because why can't we see her face? Who is she? What's her story, right? We want to know immediately. But it could be that his little heart space has suddenly gone, ooh, I haven't met somebody that intrigued me. And maybe that's the big thing that he's noticing. Can we see more about her? We have Three of Swords. We have Strength card upright. There's something about her, and I don't know how he's picking up on these vibes. Again, though, if his third eye is opening up and he's noticing something about another human being simply through observation, because once in a while, you know how we just recognize things, something. I'll use a simple example. When a car wants to change lanes, even though they haven't got their blinker on. That. We all know that. We can all tell. They're not weaving. They're not doing anything. They haven't changed their pace, but we go, that person wants to move over. They're trying to decide, do they go in front of me or behind me? Let me go ahead and make them space or let me speed up. And it's as unspoken. It's as clear as if we were having conversation. There's other moments in life where sometimes you can be standing there and, two people are having a conversation. And then there's that moment where we leave something that we didn't say, but we both heard what the thing was. And it's like, it can be a sweet moment, an uncomfortable moment. It can be the thought both people are thinking. And you may as well have said it out loud, one of the two of you, because you both heard the thought. I mean, there's so many times I've had moments like that. I think everybody has, right? Nell, you sweetheart. Happy birthday, baby. Yeah, that is so awesome. Nellie, you're so kind. Thank you. And happy birthday, babe. This feels like he has spotted something in her. By the way, she may look great in a black dress. But she's, for whatever reason, he's seen two things in her. There is some kind of, I'll say, depth to her that comes from agony and strength. And I think when you meet somebody and you just know that there's something real about them, and you know this person's been through real shit, and yet they chose to be powerful, and they chose to be somebody who can like recover. And he may be seeing her strength, and he may be recognizing if you have that much strength, it's probably because you've been through worse, or you don't get rattled, or you don't run so easy, or because he sees her out there in the spray of the sea, just living her life, not caring what anybody thinks. There's another kind of, I'll say, self-contentedness that comes with, when you get to that point where you go, I don't give a fuck. It's okay. Some people are going to make fun of me. Some people are going to like me. Some people are going to hate me. It just doesn't matter, because in the big scheme of my life, the only ones that are going to matter are the ones that, love me, and they're going to love me if I'm ugly or if I'm, looking fine today. They're going to love me if I'm silly or goofy or if I fumble. And enemies are going to hate me if I'm great or if I'm falling apart. And people that don't wish me well are never going to wish me well. I don't worry about what I look like to others anymore. And that sometimes comes with when we've hit rock bottom and we go, so many things don't matter, because there's other stuff way more real to deal with. And it makes us more confident, and it makes us care less about the nonsense. And this is somebody who's hit rock bottom, recovered. They've seen some stuff, and he recognizes that in her, which is very interesting. I wonder if that is the component of her that has awakened him, because it definitely feels like it's a couple different things. He's realized he's not really been very content in his life, or he hasn't made depth of connections. And then he's realizing he's meeting somebody who has quite a bit of depth and quite a bit of a life story. And I think it's both, awakening and humbling. And, certainly there's this warmth that he has for her that I don't think he had for previous people that he dated, because it was just so superficial. Maybe they didn't have quite, everybody has a life story, and everybody has their hurts, right? But there's something different about her. Boy, this is kind of like he's known from the first glimpse that something just got flipped on, that light switch in his mind. It's like, this is a person I'm going to marry. I have no idea how, I have no idea why, but this is my person. Okay, I'm not saying that they're getting to the altar this year, because I don't even think he's approached her yet. I'm just saying it seems like he's recognized like the soul in her. And we see the serpent, coming full circle, right? This is the year of the snake. This is the year to shed an old skin. This is a year for renewals. This is a year to do things different. Ideally, to do things better. Shedding anything can be an ugly process. And yet, one thing about snakes, sorry, now I'm going off on another tangent, but I thought this was kind of cool. They molt even their eyes, and they usually have to like rub up against, so gross. I'm like pretending I'm a snake. Ugh, I cannot stand snakes. I'm terrified of them. But apparently I'm going to, whatever, mime my way through a snake molting their eyeballs on a rock. But the one thing I like about that concept, though, is that it's like you can see the world through a different lens now. And that would make sense because we're talking about the third eye. Okay, so maybe that's why my brain went there. Sometimes I don't know where my brain goes. It's like it goes out for a little walk by itself, and I just hope it comes back. We've got this King of Pentacles. So heart is open. He's got a lot to share, but now it's like, yes, and I feel super stable. I have this plan in mind. All the stuff I've done to build my empire or my business or build myself into the person that I am, I now know what my identity is. I am somebody who not only has a heart, but I have a lot to offer. And I can, be in a great relationship with somebody that I could actually find a home with. This always, I associate the King of Pentacles with home, and even a home body. If he's traveled the whole world and he owns some big house, maybe one or two big houses, and nothing feels nice, nothing feels like home, I think he's more like, I want to be home now in like my heart, and I want to be home with somebody, that makes it feel like a home. And I think that's what he hasn't had. So these are some pretty big awakenings on his part. Can I just ask, have you approached this feminine? Because we kind of saw her la-di-da, off on her own, doing her own thing. I would definitely say this is exactly the feminine that we're talking about, though, because she is kind of remote. Right, we saw that right at the beginning with that Four of Pentacles. Like, she doesn't just give her energy to anybody. She's been thinking about, at some point, I'd like to have whomever my next lover is, but I have higher boundaries now, higher expectations now. She is a little hard to get to. And I could understand that picture, the Page of Cups with the book open and her like dancing in the spray of the ocean. I could understand that that would be a good representation of who she is. She's not caring what anybody else thinks of her. She's not somebody who's out there, making googly eyes, trying to get people to be attracted to her. I don't even think she's been like open for business, so to speak, but she's starting to think about that now. So she's pretty oblivious, I think, to potential romantic interests because she hasn't invited anybody in. And you do need an express invitation from a character like this. Okay, so we got that Knight of Pentacles. It is in the reverse. So I had asked, like, does she know you're looking her way? Not a clue. This is a whole timeline jump, though. I don't know if he has seen her through her work somehow, and maybe for a long time, because we've got all these dominoes laid out, which could just represent, many things had to go right for him to even encounter her. But then I also, because she's over here scrubbing turtles, she may work at a job where it's like, it's not super glamorous, but it's really good. Whatever it is that she does. If you're scrubbing sea turtles, you're saving marine life, you're making life better for someone. I feel like she's been at it for a long time. And I feel like whether it's, it bugs me so much that we act like certain jobs are not very good jobs. And it's like, janitorial work is so valuable, so important. So many jobs that need to be done, like, it's all valuable work, but it's always like, oh, that strata. And that always bugs me that we have this concept of a strata of what a good job is or a bad job, when it's like, it kind of disrespects people that do all the different jobs. And Lord knows, if you do not have, let's say, like, I think that the garbage man is one of the greatest things ever, because you know how bad your life is if there's no garbage trucks running. Your life is stinky and horrible, and the whole city shuts down, and you got rats, and you got all kinds of problems. So very, 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 very important job, and valuable job, and should be more celebrated. So sorry, I'm again off on a tangent there. But I feel like whatever her job is, whether it's glamorous, it feels like it's something where it's maybe tedious, but it requires attention. And I think she's done it for a long time. And I feel like he has witnessed this. He must have been like becoming aware of her and recognizing over time that, like, wow, this is a person she's already created stability. But remember, this is a timeline jump at the same time. He's having this sudden awakening. So either he's only recently encountered her and she's been around for a long time, and he's just now recognizing this, or because this is that, pineal gland, that third eye opening, maybe he's just now seeing it this way. There is something about rainbows over her as well. I don't know if he thinks about her in a multitude of colors. Sometimes I think of Hawaii. Sometimes I think of the LGBTQ community. Sometimes I think of unicorns. Maybe this is even a tip of the hat to, like, maybe there's, how like little kids always love rainbow colored everything. They want their candy to be rainbow color. They want, cupcakes and birthday cakes and bedrooms to be painted rainbow colors. So it could be anything. She could have like a kind of a cute, like kind of childlike or little girl aspect to her. Or she could come from Kansas. It could be a Wizard of Oz reference. But there is something about like rainbow. I'm picturing somebody who has like rainbow colored fingernails. Now she's got, those yellow rubber gloves that we would usually use in the kitchen on, but maybe if she paints her fingernails or something, it's going to be rainbow colors. And that could be at odds with somebody who's like out there saving marine life and, doing tough physical jobs. I don't know. There's something where I think she's both. Even we saw her in the dress, but then standing in the middle of the sea. I feel like there's a duality to her where it's like, yeah, I can dress nice, but I don't really care if I'm dressed nice. I'm still going to have a good time. Or I'm, I can whatever, do my nails, do my hair, but I'm also still going to care to do the jobs that need to be done in this world, even if they're dirty jobs, whatever. I don't think she's hung up on herself, is I guess the way I would describe this. We have the Six of Cups in the reverse, and we have the Temperance card. It's interesting because when I'm asking, like, basically, like, how does he know her, or how does he approach her, or has he approached her? This feels, oh my God, sweet. That's such an awesome comment. I'll come back and reread comments later, but you guys are so awesome. This feels like he's got not only like a timeline shift in regards to her, but it's not that he's looking for a soulmate after all. He's looking for something more than that. And I know this is a Temperance card, but what do you see on here? You see 2 cups, right? I almost think he's like, look, I'm not looking for somebody who's going to like challenge me and push me to be better and more. And, we're going to like be soulmates because sometimes soulmates are not romantic. Sometimes they're like, even if they do date, sometimes it can kind of like fade into, it's like we're pals. I do not think he's looking for pals. I think he's looking for that true harmonious balance, something divine and something that feels like I pour into you, you pour into me. He's looking for something more than a soulmate, friendship, let's work as business partners. So I'm thinking he must have already had that. Maybe he's, I kept saying it's like he's dated the same person again and again. Maybe he kept having people that he dated that were like in his industry, in his world. And it was like, I don't know if this is a business relationship or a lover anymore. It feels like it's very specific. He does not want that. And it doesn't, lots of times we go, oh, well, it's such a great relationship if 2 people can like, build their empire, work together. But there's a reason that he does not want that. He wants a divine connection that is like this peaceful. And I have to say there's a river here as well, which of course we already talked about with the flow of the Milky Way and that pineal gland and the eye of the Milky Way there. I don't know. There's a lot of crossovers in this. It's kind of great. We got the 7 of Cups sideways. We got the Emperor upright. I kind of feel like, if anything, he's saying, I've noticed her in a different way than I've noticed anybody else. I've noticed that that's the kind of person I want to really bond to. The problem is, I don't know if she'll want to bond to me, but I'm super drawn to her. He's going to do something to speak to her or make his voice the loudest in the room. I kind of feel, I don't know if he's ever been this dude before, but he's going to scare off the competition. If you have ever seen a lion or heard them, oh my God, I had no idea what I was hearing. I was at the LA Zoo one time, and it was a clear blue day, and I was there by myself because I had gone down to see James Brown, and I had some time to kill the first half of the day, so I went to the zoo, as one does. And I heard what I thought was thunder and lightning, and I was standing there looking up, and people walked by me, and finally somebody said, "What are you looking for?" And I said, "Where's the thunder?" And they're like, "There's no thunder. That's the lion." And I had never heard it before. I had no idea. And it was the most impressive thing. It stayed with me my whole life because I just didn't know that, like, what sound it was. And it shook like everything. I know why they're called, the king of the jungle. But I will say this. I don't know if this dude has ever been the king of a jungle before. He is not going to tolerate anybody else coming in front of him. He is not just a king. If he sees somebody that he likes, he's like, I'm going to make sure she notices me. I'm going to make sure that she sees I'm the best one. I'm the alpha here, that if she wants an alpha, she should pick me. Like, I do feel like lions are very territorial. And I'm not saying he's going like old school masculine, whatever. That gets such a bad rap, that stereotype. But on the other hand, I hate to use stereotypes, because the emperor is not a stereotype. The emperor is the best of the masculine energy. Yes, it is territorial because it's protective. Yes, it is strong. Yes, it is. I want my voice, what I stand for, my convictions to be seen and to be heard. I am somebody who says what I mean, and I mean what I say. My word is my bond. And And you don't have to be a dude to operate that way. I mean, we can talk about mama bears being very territorial, and we can talk about, empresses and feminines being just as strong. It's not that one is stronger than the other. It's just that they are coming in as a very classical male archetype, though, and he wants to be the alpha in her world. He's found something to fight for or somebody that he wants, but he does not know if she will want me. And he's like, then I got to make sure she sees me so she can decide if she wants to pick me. And then I got to be my best. So she wants to pick me over others. That there's that competitive, like, I want her. I don't think he's cared about other people picking him. I'm wondering if other people were obviously going to pick him, were easy, as far as, like, I'm not saying they're easy, easy sleazy, but, like, he has a lot to offer already, right? It looked like he was a person of influence, a person with money that can offer, nice weekends away in wine country or whatever it may be. He knows that's not going to be what attracts her. She's already ignored him out there in the ocean. She's already somebody who's got her own work. She's already somebody who's not been chasing him around, even if she could have. So he already knows, I actually have to get her attention. Other people are like magnets, coming around, swarming me. She's like not chasing me. Okay, I need to actually pursue. And I'm not saying he was ever hoping somebody would pursue him. I think that was just the way it went. And maybe that's the other reason there wasn't, I don't know that he's ever found somebody that he really wanted to pursue until her. So is this going to work? Is this going to work? Because he's definitely got the eyes for her. Queen of, or excuse me, I don't know why I said queen. It's Six of Wands, which is my favorite Six of Wands card I've ever seen. And the Lovers. Is it going to work? Damn Skippy it is. Because I think, although he may have to put himself in her way a couple times, like he may literally have to step, in front of her to get her to notice him. Because I think she's very self-content, very happy. You notice she's over here cracking up laughing, but her eyes are closed. She's, whatever, enjoying her life. She is made of flowers. She is so, I would just say this is somebody who exudes the right kind of personal, if we want to say personal pride, she's just saying, the things that I've chosen to give my energy to, I've worked hard to make them blossom, and I feel good about that. It's not about like, wow, I knocked the competition out of the park. I'm, Fortune 500 company, blah, blah, blah. She may be those things, but she didn't do it for that purpose. She's not somebody who's in competition with anybody other than, I don't even think there's competition in her. It's more like, I want to grow things. And oh, isn't it exciting when you put in effort and you nurture things and then you see them grow? How lovely is this? Like, that's the vibe that comes off of this Six of Wands, because Six of Wands can shift over to arrogance or competitive edge and somebody who wants to be, like, I need to be seen. Everybody, move, bitch, get out the way. And that is just not her vibe at all. I love rap music. I'm not saying that our character would have spoken like that. I'm saying that's precisely what she wouldn't do. She probably has a much more gracious way, and she's only in competition with her own self. I don't even think it's competition, though. But he's probably going to have to actually step right into her world for her to even notice him. You notice that the dragonflies are face to face. So and one dragonfly is definitely a little bit brighter than the other. And I think that's him, like, hey, will you notice me? And I think that's what it's going to take for her to actually spot him. Because otherwise she's going to be strutting along, singing a song, doing her own deal in life, thinking about, how she'll continue to nurture things in her life, may not recognize that he's interested in her. She's thinking it'll be nice when I have a romantic partner, but we never saw her. She kept thinking it's somewhere down the road in the future, right? All of these things are somewhere down the road in the future. I don't think she would have expected that this is coming in so much faster. So good luck to these two. Sorry, this one got so incredibly long. I really was going to do like a 15-minute video and then bounce back over to the other channel so we could get to the singles story and get to our last two zodiacs that I was going to do tonight. And now Oh my gosh, it's 11 o'clock. Well, we are still going to bounce over to the other channel. So if you guys are hanging out, if you're up late tonight and you want to join me for the singles video over there, I will see you on Kate's Regretless Life. And then I'm also still going to get to an Aries video tonight and also a Capricorn video tonight. Probably Capricorn then Aries. But first, I think we'll do the singles story on the other channel. Julianne, so great to see you. Hi, Denisa. Again, thank you so much, Denisa. Is it 8 a.m. where you are? Oh my gosh. Well, that's beautiful. Have a good start to your day then. Sandy, you are such a doll. Thank you for being here. Julianne, oh, somebody that you know is on a plane back to your hometown now. That's awesome. Hi, Comsey. It is a delight to see you, honey. Chrissy, hi, hun. Oh, Chrissy, I love music so much, and I love, love, love rap music. Always have. I think the beats are so good. So, so, so good. I was a belly dancer once upon a time, and so I listen for drums first. That's probably the first sound that attracts me to any piece of music is the drum line. And I think rap music, I mean, a lot of it has really great lyrics too, or really witty lyrics, really clever lyrics. And I gotta be honest, I really love some good dirty lyrics that are really cleverly written because some of them are pretty dirty too. And I like that also. I love good wit. Tina, so great to see you. The Queen V, thank you for being here, love. And Nellie, happy birthday, honey. That is so awesome. Oh my gosh, Nellie, you lived in East Africa for a time. Oh my God. That must have been such an amazing experience. Oh, Cherry Coleman, James Brown. I am so, so thrilled I got to see him twice before he passed on, and they were incredible concerts. Just incredible. Yeah, I have to say Mother Popcorn is probably Mother Popcorn and Big Payback are two of my favorites, but for a ballad, Prisoner of Love. Oh my gosh, I love that song. But there's a very specific version of it that I love. And it's like I think it's like a 1969 version. Because he sang it when he was quite a bit younger, and then I think he's one of those performers that got better and better and better as he aged, and it got like more funk and just more raw. I love James Brown. Sweet, so good to see you. Yes, oh my God, the Lion's Roar is incredible. Hi, AC, good to see you. Robin Castillo, thank you for being here, love. Kimmy, I agree with you. I do. I think that age is how you feel. I do. I agree with you completely. That's awesome. Kimmy, you are young. Absolutely. And happy upcoming birthday. Sweet. I love that. Written in the rainbow. I love that. Global Native, wonderful to see you. Oh my gosh, you're scrubbing grout. That is some serious hard work, right? But isn't that so rewarding when you see it all clean at the end? Oh my gosh, because grout can really hold dust particles. I know I recently cleaned just my baseboards, not that it's grout, but I feel the same sense of like deep clean, when I clean my baseboards. And I have a very furry dog, so like I have to clean my baseboards. Mancy Luthra, great to see you, hun. Sweet, you're so cute. Gegita. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, I cannot believe that you know that. So Sweet just quoted a song that is fantastic by Gegita, Whoever You Are. Yes. And it's really fun. And it is a lane change song. It's a really fun song. Actually, I'm thinking that when I was introduced to Gegita, it was with like a whole compilation album from a specific like producer or record label, because I know that is where I listened to some Zap Mama, Damn Your Eyes. Oh my God, I love her version of it. Also on that album, I think it was Stay Human by Michael Franti. And For the Life of Me, the whole album was just stellar, but just a huge blend of artists, and it was all so awesome. Oh my God, I haven't listened to Gay in forever. Thank you so much for bringing that up. I was so gonna Gonna go listen to that now. That's so awesome that you knew that. You are the only human on earth, by the way, that I've ever met that knows that song. I mean, I'm sure other people do. I just haven't encountered them. So you guys are so awesome. I love that. AC is asking if Calm Seas had the massage yet. You guys are so cool. The fact that it's like there's a whole like we built relationships with each other too. I just think that's the nicest thing ever. Oh, Calm Sea. Yeah, you have been working hard, honey. I know. I've seen in the comments all the different things that you've been up to. Queen Nor, good to see you. Nellie, I didn't know you're in Savannah, Georgia. That has always been such a like it's a place that I really want to see. It's so like romantic in my mind. Hi, Nani. Sweet, I love it. Yes, you're still quoting the song. That's so cute. Shell Hamilton. Oh, I love that. Oh, Shell, that's so great to live in a coastal town. And how perfect is your name? I think seashells and I think of the ocean. Sandy, you're perfectly on time, love. Hi, Bridget. Donnie Ford. Hi, sweetheart. Thank you for being here, Donnie. Great to catch you. Shell, you're so sweet. Thank you. I'm still scrolling backwards to say hi to everybody. If you guys ever wonder why I'm silent and scanning through. T baby, nice to catch you. Right back at you, love. Yes, Kimmy, Aries has the spot. I promise I will make a note to myself to take a picture of both Aries in real life and then also the little painting that I did of him, because that's why I painted him that way with his little third eye shining. But yeah, it's called the Bentley star, and so it means he is the descendant of a very specific papa, a line of blue healers. Dwayne Weathers, I'm so delighted to see you. Good. I'm glad you've been doing great. I know you've been working hard too. I remember different times you said you just got off work and it was like midnight or something. So it's so great to catch you. Donnie Ford, thank you, honey. Thank you guys for giving it a thumbs up. Donnie, thank you for reminding me. So appreciate that. AC, I love that. Emperor for AC, and shout out to 11D8, all of our other night owls. You guys are so awesome. Yeah, shout out to Violet, EM, Travis, all the night owl crew. Whether you're here or not, we're sending you love for sure. Thanks again. So good to see you, T baby. Yes, thank you, sweet. Yes, glowing or scorching is the equivalent of Sirius. Yes, I love that, sweet. Thank you for the comments there. That's so awesome. Okay, so a lot of I'm reading that when my channel was buffering, you guys were saying that you've been experiencing that on other channels too. Okay, that makes me feel better just to know that it's kind of widespread right now. So it's probably updates. Hey, Christopher, Nat Nats, beautiful G, Cataclysmic Awakening. Nellie, see, I know I love to go see the Nutcracker, and I love to see it every year because they always do it a little bit different each year. Soulshine, wonderful to see you. Rare Lestrange, hi, beauty. Daniela Denuta, thank you for being here. Hey, Nick, awesome to see you. Brittany H, and of course, again, thank you so much, Denisa. Hey, AC. Lulu, hi, honey, I almost missed you there. All right, you guys, I'll see you over on the other channel. We'll do a singles read first, and then I'll do those other two zodiacs. Bethany Bong, thank you, honey. Muds Moiki, how are you, love? And Millie, hi, hun. Great to see you guys. All right. If you are up late, I'll see you over on Kate's Regretless Life for a single story. Bye. Wendy, hi, hun.